Even though we should have GTFO'd, we stepped out of our trucks and stared into the tree line. We were on a dirt road in the middle of the night, and on one side of us was a river, and on the other, the deep Oregon wilderness that stretched on for miles and miles. If anything came at us, we were screwed. Zach sighed.
Not again.
He walked over to the trunk of the truck, opened it, and revealed a small arsenal of firearms. Before we came out here, Zach had packed a couple of guns, blades, and explosives and put them in the truck that originally belonged to Leather Jacket, which was totally overkill. He took out a large assault rifle and put on the headlamp, and once he was satisfied with how the magazine was positioned, he tossed a large rifle to Ben.
You know how to use this?
Zach asked. I already knew the answer.
No.
Zach sighed.
Fine.
Then he tossed the gun at me, and I caught it midair and loaded it. Living in this town, I naturally had done a little skeet shooting, sharpshooting, and some hunting in the past, so I wasn't new to guns. Despite all my guns in the past either being destroyed or lost in some way. Then I stated the obvious, which was so obvious I shouldn't have even stated it. Zach, why don't we hop into our trucks and nope the hell out of here? There is no reason for us to intervene or get involved in this. Zach scoffed.
I get paid to do this kind of shit. Now, whether you want to stay or not is your choice. It's probably going to get messy out here.
Let me guess. Wendigo?
Wait, are you talking about those deer things that broke into your house a while back?
Ben interrupted. Yeah, I said. Yes, I am. But Wendigo is just a collective term for several cryptids. We were all cut short when a loud screech emanated from the woods. Except now, it was closer. A lot closer.
Oh, hell nah!
Ben said as he jumped into one of the trucks and sped off. I had to admit, just getting up and noping the hell out of there did make him look a lot like a scared shithead, but he didn't need to get involved in this kind of shit. Zach and I, mostly Zach, on the other hand, had dealt with these kind of things before, and Ben couldn't use a gun, so his canonical presence probably wouldn't matter.
3 o'clock,
Zach said. What the fuck do you mean? It's 8 o'clock right now, I whispered.
You know what? Never mind.
All of a sudden, all of the noise stopped. The screeching, the wind, everything. And now I warn you that this may sound cliche as hell, but it was as if time itself stopped. Then, out of nowhere, the Wendigo leaped out of the woods on our right and swatted Zach into a tree with one massive hand with incomprehensible speed. I could tell that this was the only surviving Wendigo of the 6 that had attacked my house. 6 Wendigo? 7? I don't remember. Zach told me that he had thrown his knife at the Wendigo's shoulder, and there was a healed scar holding the knife Zach had thrown in its flesh. Zach had named this one Skinny. Skinny raised his arms, preparing to smash Zach into all hell, but I took aim and I shot the Wendigo's forearm joint. Now, Zach always carried very high caliber weapons, but this one was no different. From the looks of it, the rifle I was holding was a high caliber elephant rifle from the early 2000s. The recoil sent me back and I stumbled onto my ass. Surprisingly, Skinny's entire forearm had been neatly blown off, leaving only a bleeding stump. It was a very good shot considering that I was not used to high-power rifles of any kind. Just plot armor. Inconvenience. Skinny screeched, and before it could move any further, Zach riddled his chest with bullets, as its gore and black blood splattered out of the bullet holes. Skinny screeched and she ran off into the woods, holding his bleeding stump with his good arm. I rushed over to Zach where he was slumped against a large oak tree. You okay? I helped him up.
Been better. Fucker bruised my ribs.
At least it's not the Taliban, I muttered. And so, we walked back to the remaining pickup truck. We had ditched the pickup truck in the middle of the woods halfway back to my house, and Zach and I had walked the rest of the way back. And sleepy as hell, I passed out on the couch. With a splitting hangover headache, I woke up on the couch I had slept on last night. Today, I hoped, would be a normal day. At least that was my goal. No Wendigo, monsters, giant sea monsters, or evil shadow organizations. I had even made a schedule. 9 a.m. Wake up, make coffee. Eat a shitty breakfast. 9:50 a.m. Hide all the beer Kyle bought. From Kyle. And practice with my sword. 10:30 a.m. Head into town, buy groceries, and get a nice shotgun because too much weird shit shows up way too often. 3 p.m. Head to Zach's house to practice with my new gun and look around the property for trouble. 5 p.m. Go back home, take a nap, and have the rest of the weekend to myself. For the most part, I followed the routine without any problems. The morning part went by fine. I woke up, practiced with my sword, and headed into town. The town consisted of dozens of streets connecting in several intersections, which were lined with roadside movie theaters, stores, and a grocery store that fed the non-hunting citizens. This particular day was pretty bright, so a lot of people were outside. And more the people, more the pissy asshole attitude. Another detail I may have neglected to mention is the detail of the townsfolk, though I doubt I didn't. Most of the people are what you call rednecks. About 70% of the folks are either hunters, outdoorsmen, or fishermen, and the other 30% consists of naked crab-walking crackheads who use the public water fountains to wipe their asses. And I guess I fell into the first category. And I'm not sure where Kyle fell into. Both? I went to the next location of my routine, Earl's Convenience. Now, considering that I was a regular at Earl's Convenience with my purchases of cheap ramen and soda, I had been away for a long time. But I guess I was busy fighting monsters and doing a bunch of other insane stuff I would have giggled my ass off hearing about 2 months ago. So, I guess Earl was surprised when he saw me walk into the store wearing nothing but flannel clothes and a smile.
Roger, I was starting to think you up and died or some shit.
I stopped and laughed. Yeah, I get that a lot.
Where have you been?
I was expecting this kind of question, so I came prepared. I was chasing a giant sea monster for the last month, and I also got stranded on a desert island, and I may have killed a giant elephant snake somewhere along the way, and I was busy running away from a gigantic zombified deer. But the truth was way too crazy to be taken seriously, so I did not expect what Earl said next.
Wait, what did you just say? At the end there, son?
I was still standing in front of the cashier desk, holding my groceries and an energy drink. I was busy running away from a pissed-off giant zombie deer? Earl stopped for a moment.
You've seen it too. Holy shit. Okay, for the last few days, something that looked like a goddamn deer has been crossing my backyard. And sometimes, it opens its mouth, and it makes sounds like a fucking crying baby. Last night, I saw it again, but it looked like it was running away from something, and it had bullet holes all over its body, and one of its forearms was ripped off, but slowly healing. It looked like someone had shot it with an assault rifle, and then shot it right in the joint with an elephant rifle or something.
I could not believe how unwarily accurate Earl was of the specifics of what happened the previous night when Zach and I had battled the Wendigo we named Skinny. But then again, Earl was a crazy gun fanatic. Oh, yeah, I muttered. That might have been me.
What?
Earl asked. Nothing, never mind.
So,
Earl said.
Have you seen anything like this? I know this town is pumped full of weird shit, but this is the first time I've seen a Wendigo. And the weirdest part is that someone shot it. Have you any idea what's going on?
No, I lied. Then I paid for my groceries and left.